is Andrew Van Treeck, and I'm a junior here at Batavia High School. In the United States, state and local governments have been making drastic changes to the education system. Here in Batavia, one of these changes has to do with the number of credits required to graduate. Administrators have proposed this because they believe it will offer a wider variety of options for all students, both higher and lower achieving. Teachers disagree with this and believe that it will hurt education in Batavia and that it will cause more teacher layoffs. Here's Superintendent Jack Barshinger, who will explain this proposal in detail.
Board of Education has been asked to lower the graduation requirement from 28 credits to 26 credits. Several pieces of data that came to the board were that we have much higher graduation requirements than any of our surrounding benchmark districts. So the highest we could find was 26. The second was the high school principal and high school administration really want to look at different options for students. The first one they'll explore next year is giving kids remedial help during one of their block periods as a non-credit class. From there, we hope to get into public service and other opportunities for juniors and seniors as we get down the road, but that will come in a few years.
All of our classes will still be required. What will be changing is the students always had an opportunity to take a variety of electives, and if they choose, they could take fewer electives. Instead, they would be taking a non-credit option.
When you lower expectations, a lot of times you get a lower performance.
We got a lot of letters at the school district asking why we are reducing the requirements, for why we're lowering our standards. I think that's some of the questions I hear.
I guess I don't see it as less being required of high school students. I see it as providing an opportunity for students to help direct their own path based on their own goals of where they want to go.
We're taking away opportunities for these kids by not pushing them and saying, in fact, you don't have to work as hard. Opportunities will be lost because with less elective classes taken, we'll lower the sections, taking away programs eventually. When programs are taken away, those children that don't fit into the mold no longer have those opportunities.
But some classes may become obsolete.
Because especially high school students have a tendency to only do the amount that's required. And if it is lowered to 26, they'll probably end up taking closer to that number. And also from teachers, I've been hearing that if fewer classes are required, there'll be less classes and more teachers will get riffed.
If you have a certain amount of number, as the number grows at graduating early, obviously you don't need as many staff members because you don't have as many students in the building.
If we had a big study hall that had 200 kids in it per block, that would save us money, but that's not our intention. So there could be financial implications if we did it that way, but we're not. For next year, we're inviting a small group of kids to this intervention.
On a block schedule with a 90-minute period, the high school is looking at more of that 90-minute period probably being broken into possibly 2 segments. So it would be about half study, do your homework, maybe for other subjects, but the other half would be an intensive remediation to get kids caught up.
We had a group that came in and evaluated our school this year, and they said that that was one area that we needed to work on, would be providing more supports for those students, and we needed to be creative about that. So we tried to be creative and come up with this solution.
I've seen it in my work as an educational consultant. I've seen a number of high schools that have this intervention, and those students who have received interventions are now achieving. So it does make a definite difference in the life of a student and their ability to learn.
It depends also on the students. If the students who are at risk are going to step up to the plate and try to take advantage of this opportunity, this last opportunity offered to them. But I think it can be useful, and I think it's a good thing. I support it.
I think the vast majority of them are not going to use the time to improve their academic skills. Now I have nothing to base that on except years ago when we used to have study halls. And we also used to call it resource room. We tried a lot of different tactics. That's one reason we dropped them years ago.
Taking it down only 2 credits, still that's only giving them maybe 2 semesters that they can have a study hall, and I think that benefit won't be enough to see as opposed to the negative we'll have of not getting as good of an education.
I think for some students it will help their college resume on the top end, where they'll go out and do things like college credit, maybe at a junior college or something like that at the end of their senior year when they don't have to take that extra credit.
We're wondering if the students are actually going to be graduating with the same amount of information as they previously had.
Our students, all of our students graduate right now with 32 credits and they only need 28. So it may be that a lot of students will continue to take more classes excuse me, than just the 26 that they absolutely need for graduation.
Really, there's not a correlation between the number of credits a student takes and their success here. So they would graduate with some other alternative courses that they didn't receive credit for, but they would still meet all of our minimum graduation requirements of the courses that they take.
You know, it's better to do well in fewer classes than to do poorly in many classes. So.
I think ultimately it will reduce the bar for the non-motivated students, and they won't come out of Batavia High School with a diploma that means as much as it has in the past.
Okay, we do have an administrative recommendation for approval of graduation requirements 6:300.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Roberts, second by Beamer. Any further board discussion? Okay, Jen, just call the roll, please.
Roberts? Yes. Vanderlaan?
Yes.
Beamer? Yes. Purpura?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
We pretty much, as school board members, you have to remember, we're not education professionals other than Dr. Hinterlong. So most of what we do is listen, learn, and go with recommendations more often than not with the people that are trained to do those types of things.
I think the board has been very interested in improving the rigor in our classes, but they know as they raise those stakes and offer more rigorous classes that we still have a group of students that struggle with some of the core subjects.
I think they were wanting to reach these students and make every effort.
I think that they voted listening to all the arguments, and I think that they did a good job in considering all of that.
We just need to make sure that what we do offer is quality and meaningful and meets the student interests. What are the students interested in? I don't know how you can say no to that.
This proposal did pass, and it took many months to pass. The reason it took many months is because the administrators had to communicate with the community what exactly the changes meant. Once the community found these changes, they appreciated what the administration was trying to do. This just shows how important it is to stay informed with the right information. This also shows that people need to stay informed about how these changes are affecting the school in the future so they can vote this back to 28 credits if they really want it. From Batavia High School, I'm Andrew Van Treeck, signing off.